Southern California's largest paint and sip studio. Spotlight with Purple Easel.
All right, folks, thank you for tuning in, and welcome back to another episode of Purple Easel Spotlight, where we put the spotlight on artists and creatives. My name's Latoya.
And I'm Megan.
And today we're going to bring you two artists that we're going to talk about, but we're also going to be talking about two art news as well. So we got four subjects to talk about, and I'm actually pretty excited for them.
Yeah, so I'm going to start us off. All right, so this one comes with a bit of a personal story. As you may know, I have a thing for craftsman style architecture and such, and Frank Lloyd Wright. And I will literally just go into the internet and lose myself for a while looking at images. It puts me in a happy place. So many years ago, I was in the rabbit hole and I discovered right here in Southern California is a project by Frank Lloyd Wright's son, Lloyd Wright.
Okay.
And he created the Wayfarer's Chapel. Ooh. And ever since I saw it, I was like, yo, I'm going to get married there. Because it's beautiful.
Where is this?
This is in Rancho Palos Verdes, so it's kind of up a little bit above Long Beach area.
Okay.
So fast forward to when I actually got engaged. My husband, Lee, was like, yeah, let's do it. So I actually spent a lot of time researching places around it where we could do the reception because you can only do the ceremony there. And so we got in contact with what ended up being our venue, the sanctuary. We went in with plans to have the ceremony at Wayfarers. But then once we got there, we're like, oh, why would we travel? This is cheaper. Like, it just worked out better. And in my mind, I'm like, that's all right. We can still go visit. We could go to a Sunday service there. I can still like just check it out.
And then
I've made a terrible mistake.
What was the mistake?
They are disassembling it.
Why? Tell me why.
Because they want to hurt me. No, it's actually, there's a lot of land movement and they've known about it for years, but it's started to speed up and there's been mudslides in the area. And you can see in this photograph here, like this whole, you can see how close it is kind of to the road. It's up on a little bit of the hillside and that has become completely unstable. And it's causing problems with like glass shattering and stuff. Unfortunately, even though they put a clear coat on the panes to try to keep it from breaking, and they just don't want it to sustain more damage.
Yeah, okay.
Especially since so many of the components are no longer in production, like these blue tiles you see. I mean, I feel like they could find some sort of craftsman who could duplicate some of that if they needed to, but they really just want to spare as much heartache as possible.
So are they going to move it somewhere else or build it, kind of redo the whole thing?
So they're going to disassemble it for now and store it away safely and then hopefully either find a new site for it or return it to this site once it's been stabilized better. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I mean, so there's still some hope I'll get to see it, but this just broke. They just announced it. And now even going to the website, it has this huge thing saying it's now closed, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Dang.
Just like within the last 2 days, they just shut it all down. So I can only imagine the panic for all the couples who had weddings scheduled there this year.
Oh, yeah. Ouch. That sucks.
I know. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
It feels like very peaceful when you walk in. I don't know. It's giving just like peaceful nature vibe.
Yeah, because it really kind of lets the outside come in with all that glass. It still has structure, but like the redwoods, they're even going to try to preserve the redwoods that have grown up around it because that's all part of the whole thing. So yeah, sad news today.
Oh man, yeah, that's a bummer. Go back. Can we go back to the very first picture? I want to see it in its prime.
Look at how beautiful that is. I know. I mean, I'm very happy with my venue that I ended up with. Yeah. But like, I didn't fantasize about my dress or my flowers or any of that like most girls do. But that was the one thing, like, I'm going to get married there. And then once it became social media time, it became more Instagram famous and prices went up. It was harder to book spaces, and like we could have made it work. I would have at least liked to go visit. No.
You know what? This is where I would have my cult gathering.
Right. It feels very culty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In like the best spiritual way possible.
Yes. If you'd like to join my cult, hit me up. It's a really nice cult. I don't really have a cult. But this is so pretty. I'm so sad to hear that.
I know. I mean, we can only hope that, you know, all the preservation efforts won't be in vain, and that $20 million they're planning on spending for it will make it well worth it to preserve this little bit of history.
Rest in peace. Wow. All right. Well, there's that first bit of art news.
Hopefully yours is not as sad.
It's no.
Oh.
We're actually gonna have to go to the boopy bop and go to Google real quick to check out King Charles' portrait. Just dropped last night. Everyone's talking about it. It looks like he's burning in hell. It looks like he is not having a great time there.
Oh, that's interesting decision making.
And it is just huge news because it looks the way it does. And you know, okay, so the butterfly on the left or right to his shoulder signifies like change and transformation.
Yeah, and it's a monarch too, which also signifies death. Just saying. Go on.
In some cultures, those are all pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just not giving, you know, I don't know. How do you feel about it? A lot of people are like,
it seems like a very odd choice for a royal portrait.
That's what everyone's been saying.
Now, I like the idea. I actually like how the body kind of just fades into the space around it. That's neat. If it were anyone else, I feel like there's a deeper meaning, some commentary here that I don't know. Like, how did they decide on this artist and the style? This is a very odd choice, especially with everything going on with the royal family right now.
I think that's what it is. Well, yeah, it just...
Is he trying to be younger, more modern? Is that the attempt here?
You know, I don't know quite.
It's all speculation.
Yeah. And so the original artist, he does stuff like this. And so there's other like celebrities that he's painted.
So they knew what they were getting into.
Yes. So it wasn't a surprise. The color choice, though, that's kind of the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been comparing it to blood, and they don't like that. I don't necessarily see blood. I see
it's more
fire.
pinky to me.
Yeah.
Red.
And the whole floating, I like what you were saying, how the body fades into the background, just if it wasn't him.
Right. Like, yeah, I feel like that technique could be really intriguing with something else.
Yeah, and the original artist does that. A lot of his other portraits have that same sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Where it kind of fades away.
Yeah.
And many people on the internet are comparing this to Ghostbusters 2, Vigo's painting. And the internet's also going crazy with that.
Of course. Thank you, internet.
Yes, it's giving the same vibe. But anyways, that's the art news, is the people are talking. The people don't really like it a whole lot. But it is a conversation piece.
I don't dislike it. It's just such an odd choice to me for him. The detail is really stunning. The face is very recognizable.
Yes. Yeah, the attention to detail is great. It's not, I don't know.
It's just so hard because we had Queen Elizabeth for so long, you know, and she was just that symbol.
Yeah, we loved her.
So
no one likes Charles.
Well, and that's he's got to live up to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, he's probably not going to be in position that long. Although she lasted a long time, so who really knows?
And maybe that's what it is. It's giving me kind of like
fleeting.
I'm dying.
Yeah. Fading out into the abyss. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't know that that's what you want to portray to your people, though. Like, don't you want to be the strong? Like,
That's why everyone's talking about it, because it's not giving what people want out of the greatness, a king, you know?
Yeah.
It's giving like, bye everyone. I'm kind of fading into the fiery background.
just going into obscurity here.
Nope, there's that.
Wow. That is news. That's wow.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into Noriyoshi.
Let's do it.
Right.
Is it happy time now?
Yes, it's going to get so
Okay,
much
good.
more happier.
I'm ready for the happy. Give me the dopamine.
All right. So, as you may know, there's not a lot of information about this particular
I got
artist.
a bone to pick with you. How am I supposed to research a guy that has like 2 sentences everywhere?
Yeah, no.
And it's the same 2 sentences.
And by that, I'm hoping to highlight him and people see this and they know a little bit more about him because
Versus nothing.
yeah, for that reason.
That's fair. That's fair.
So not a lot is known, as like we were saying, about Noriyoshi Ohrai. And he was a Japanese illustrator who's famous for making the international version of the Empire Strikes Back movie. Ooh, poster.
Yeah.
So he's a movie poster illustrator. So he's also illustrated some novels, games, and other films. So he was born in Japan in 1935. He died in 2015. That's it.
Yeah, and that's like every article that exists is, oh, he's now passed away. You would know him from this, this, and this. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So hopefully we're going to discuss a lot because we don't know a lot of information about him. Other that he studied at Tokyo University of the Arts, but he didn't graduate there. In 1980, his illustration of Star Wars, which he posted to a science fiction magazine, caught the eye of George Lucas. And Lucas was like, oh my gosh, girl, you got to make this international poster for this. We love this. So in general, he did leave a large body of work, and it got me thinking about movie posters as a whole. So this first one is like, kablamo!
Yeah.
It's just...
Yes. And he was like the master of all things sci-fi. And honestly, he came at the right time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, I want to say that what did he use? Because... In certain images, I'm like, okay, that's like a possibly acrylic. Like, did he? Because in illustration, you can use a plethora. You could use pen and like watercolor, and stuff like that. It's like a mixed medium.
Right.
So, what did he use?
I don't know. And it's funny because as I was searching for him, one of the questions that popped up is what medium did he use? And it didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
So he studied painting. So maybe oil, maybe acrylic.
And I couldn't tell if it was like color pencil. I don't think so, but like,
I'm not entirely sure.
Also, in the second picture, it's really cool to have all this, that one. The hodgepodge of characters and the perspective, like there's so much perspective
It's layered on each other. Yeah. Yeah.
The bottom versus the top.
His composition is so like intricate.
There's a lot to look at.
There's so much to look at. You might even say it's a little bit too busy. But it just epitomizes the movies.
Oh,
it really does. And I did see that he did a lot of research for his projects and he was very meticulous.
Yes.
So that definitely goes to show in the amount of detail. I mean, look, the stormtroopers are like the smallest thing on there, but they're all facing different directions. You're getting different parts of their bodies and their uniforms, and it's all very well detailed.
And this is all before Photoshop.
Yeah, right. It has that almost collage aspect.
Yeah.
Before there was the ability to copy paste.
Yeah. Which I think is really cool.
Yeah. He was doing it before it was a thing.
Yep. So I like this one. This one, I'm like, okay, I see the brush strokes a little.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that one's less defined than some of them. It looks much more painterly. But look at the X-Wings in the background there. Like, how cool
it's crazy
is
because I
that?
can hear the sound effects in my head.
Right? That's amazing.
Yes. Now, I really like this one. Also, okay, this is actual International Empire Strikes Back poster. And what's interesting is Darth Vader is green instead of like red, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It doesn't take away from like Sith Empire-y
It doesn't.
vibes.
It still reads as
Like
benevolent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think red would have popped out too much. Like green, for some reason, fits sky better. And it's like a glowing,
more
starry. Yes, galactic. That's the word. Yeah. No, I like that choice. And I like that one little shine right at the 1/3 mark. Kind of brings your eye full circle.
And if you look at the little rays, the yellow rays around the face, those are like, if you zoom in or to like look at the very end, those are like planes, jets, whatever.
TIE fighters
I
or
can't quite tell.
X-Wings or something. Yeah. Wow.
I know, so cool. So he also did the Goonies. And I kept staring at this and I'm like, what did he use? What did he use?
Okay,
so
so
much
the
detail.
background looks more painterly. But like all of the treasure, I don't know. But his likeness on the faces is insane. Like it looks just like them.
Yeah, no, totally. That's one other thing that I really liked about this. And it gives you an overall general what the movie's about.
You get the vibe.
Yeah.
You totally get the vibe.
Kids, you get the treasure, the mystery, the adventure.
The Fratellis. Yeah, that's a lot of detail. That's so cool. But again, like he's done such a magical job of like, even though the background is detailed, it fades away and lets the characters be the forefront, especially One-Eyed Willie. Because I mean, hello.
Well, yes. Also, with that being said, and you'll see this in a few other pieces where there's a main color theme and everything's that color, but they don't. But like you said, nothing gets lost.
Yeah,
there's some subdued, and then there's some popping out.
Yeah,
which me personally, as an artist, I find hard to bring the contrast when I'm working with the same similar colors.
Yeah, it's almost like you put a filter on it.
And these were made in the 80s, 1980s as well.
That's pretty cool.
Godzilla.
Oh, so my husband is kind of obsessed with Godzilla, and I almost wore one of his shirts today, but he's so obsessed with Godzilla that it's a very like faded and cracked shirt. So I decided not to. But yeah, we love some Godzilla in our household.
Okay, this is Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. I know. I was like, I didn't know there was a space. I'm pretty sure I probably saw it because back in the days I used to watch.
I feel like Godzilla has fought everything. Honestly,
this is very true. And again, it's just like the one bop, that one big star pow, and like
it gives it that like it's electrified.
I think that's Mothra right there. This one was super dope. It's got the 3-headed. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, it's kind of wrapping around. Oh, that's cool.
And you got these like blue, yellow,
yeah,
blue, yellow, blue, yellow.
Yeah, you got kind of a split complementary color scheme, which it's so hard as an artist to limit yourself that way. But the overall effect is so fun. Like it's so different than if you just dip into whatever color.
That's kind of more my jam. I usually use just a few colors.
Yeah.
This one also, so this is the one I was kind of talking about where there's so much green and there's like so much yellow, but they don't get lost in each other.
Yeah. Well, he's really worked with the value. Like you see how light it is at the top of Godzilla's head versus the darkness at the bottom of the tail. And then all the little spiky bits have such form to them because of the light and shadow.
Yep. That's so dope. And the detail on Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. I don't think I couldn't pull that off.
I'd be like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
So these next few images are going to be novels.
Okay.
And I didn't pull up the names of them because I'm going to butcher all of the names.
They're all in Japanese.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here's the novels.
But he did like a lot of Pulp Fiction kind of books and stuff, right? Oh,
So again, I see these kind of like two colors almost. Like there's
This
other
one
colors,
really
but-
reads Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
It's
it
the color,
does.
and it just like seems like it could have been her.
No, that's 1000% true. I didn't think of it that way. This one, I thought it was pretty cool because at first I thought the dress I thought it was embellishments on a dress until I looked further. I'm like, oh, this is like a monster or
yeah, it's
something.
got eyeballs.
Yeah. So even though it's reading Castlevania to me, it's giving such Castlevania vibes, 1000%. We have helicopters. So I'm kind of like,
yeah.
I wonder what some of these stories are. And the thing about, movie posters and just book covers and stuff like that, it has to give you kind of the information of what it tells. So I'm like, I wonder if this is like not necessarily like a werewolf, but like a transformation. Is she turning into something?
Or is she being overtaken? Is it a Venom kind of situation?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she enjoying it? Is she not? It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair is amazing,
I
though.
was just about to say that. The hair is so
You can
gorgeous.
definitely see brushstrokes there.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
This is like one of those commercials for
Hair or something.
yeah. Like a
Shampoo.
yeah. This one I found to be very interesting too because of the modern versus non-modern vibe to it, kind of like the last one.
Yeah.
You have this woman who's dressed very traditional,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have behind her something very mech, very tech.
Yeah.
But you also have like the moon, which gives you like the sci-fi vibe to it.
You know, it's interesting because I read a lot of fantasy and I read some like dystopian, and this totally fits into a lot of the dystopian because there'll always be this like super advanced technology, but then like they're living like the old days at the
Okay.
same time. It's very interesting how authors always kind of put that together.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Kind of like Dune. Dune does that.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I just love the brightness of the figure versus the darkness of the background.
Yeah.
She's in a dark place.
She is. I wonder who she is.
I don't
wonder
know.
what, like,
She
role
seems
plays.
important, though.
Yeah.
She's well dressed, lots of fabric.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that fabric's kind of expensive.
Is this what you call the juxtaposition? Because I know that word as to be like this and this, but they're together.
Yes,
So then
kind of two opposing things thrown together. Yes, that's exactly right.
all right. So, why are movie posters so important? Their job is to convey to the audience in a short amount of time the message, theme, feeling, and tone of the movie. Its job is to attract attention and encourage word of mouth. Here's something I found on the internet that I thought was super interesting about movie posters. Okay.
Mhm.
And it reads, a memorable poster design can become iconic, symbolizing the movie and creating a lasting impression in the minds of the audience. This recognition can extend beyond the film's release, becoming a part of pop culture. So I was thinking, like, what is the relevance of movie posters and stuff today? And then I got to thinking, oh yeah, Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
That was super popular. Not only just the posters, because they made it to where you can put yourself into the...
Oh, yeah. Super memeable.
Yes,
Yeah.
super memeable. But you also I saw so many of my friends posting on Instagram when they went to go see the movie, they were in the box. And you
Yep.
can, get in the box and take a picture.
Brilliant marketing all around, really. Yeah. Oh,
He's
look at
just
Ken. He's just Ken. He's Knuff.
So, Megan,
Yes.
did you have any movie posters in your room growing up?
So when I was younger, I never had the like collage images everywhere, posters and pictures stuff. I think mostly because I moved around too much. And so it was always kind of borrowed space and borrowed time. When I graduated high school, I got a Vertigo poster, which I think we discussed during the Danny Haas episode. But honestly, you're talking about like how they transcend what it actually is and becomes a like iconic on itself. I worked at Hollywood Video for many, many years back when video stores were a thing. And I picture movie covers. Like somebody will be like, oh, what's that one movie with blah, 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 and blah, blah. And I'm like, I can picture the cover. I can see where it was on the wall. And like, for me, oftentimes the poster and the cover ended up being the same or very similar. So it's kind of like that, but we would accumulate things.
Okay.
And I think the most memorable thing was the Borat standee.
Nice.
It was full size.
Nice.
And we would use it to scare each other, like leaving it in the office at night. And then so when the opener would come in, they'd be like, oh my God, there's a man in the office.
Yeah.
But we ended up with that. And then we would proceed to spook each other with it. I lived with a bunch of roommates who also worked at Hollywood Video at the time. So for me, it wasn't necessarily the poster, but it was imagery related to the movie that kind of, you know,
And I
stuck
remember
with
that.
me.
The craziest thing is I remember in my head what that looked like. It's a tall, he's like full.
Yeah, he's full size. He had like his torso was a little bit of a boxed out shape to put the DVDs because when it released, that's what the whole standee was for. But like he just like
Yeah.
you know, like totally Borat.
Yes.
So
Nice.
super creepy when you're in half dark.
Yes. I can imagine that 1000%.
Yeah.
So for me, and so it's so funny that we're talking about Hollywood Video.
Yeah.
Because that's where I got so my then boyfriend's cousin worked at Hollywood Video.
Right on.
And he would get a bunch of posters. And then also his dad like worked for a like paint company to where they like mix the paint, but they would print movie posters and stuff like that. So I had access to a lot of movie posters and whatnot. So I had a ginormous Johnny Depp secret window, and I love Johnny Depp before he was popular, back when he was handsome.
Before it got kind of weird.
So, and low key, I feel like this made me watch the movie more because I saw it like
it's advertising.
Exactly,
It's
just in my
essentially-
room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also had like Speed Racer, and I had a bunch of anime stuff.
Right.
And whatnot.
Speed Racer.
Yeah, I was big into posters. But I thought about that actually because you were talking about Ranger Doug, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I didn't have any like park posters, but I did have movie posters.
Yeah. So I have a lot of posters now, but it's like Spider-Man posters. Husband's a little obsessed. I did wear my Spiders
Let's go.
/ Warriors because that was an iconic movie poster. Yeah, like most of what I have now is prints of like retro Tomorrowland stuff, like the old monorail and things like that. More minimalism. And I have like other artists' takes, like I have a Join the Night's Watch kind of situation going on, those kind of things. So
Gotcha. Okay.
they still live in my heart.
And that's what I was going to bring up next is that I'm sure you, the viewer, can remember or like there's an image burnt into your memory of a movie poster. We all have
At
one.
least one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And mine is going to be one of my favorite movies of all time, Conan the Destroyer. This is just burnt, literally like singed into my brain, and I love that movie, and I want it to be Grace Jones. She's just a badass, and I just love her and Arnold, and I just love everything about
It's
the movie.
so giving 80s romance novel vibes.
It does. It does have that whole vibe to it. And you'll see kind of like a lot of similarities in the movie posters and stuff and book covers in the 80s.
Yeah.
Kind of gravitated towards the same sort of themes and imagery and whatnot.
Right.
Placements.
Well, a lot of that I think came from our artists. That whole like collage-y, the stack, the pyramid, the really strong core.
Yep.
I mean, look at him. The main character is like
Exactly.
He's there. He's strong. He's mighty.
Yep. That because you
And that
gotta tell
sword
what
is
the movie is
amazing.
in a short amount of time.
I kind of want that sword.
Okay. Also, he's holding it a little odd.
Yeah, he totally is. Yeah. It's just like posing awkwardly for a photo, right? Like you wouldn't do this in real life, but you'll pose that way.
Yes. Yep.
We can't overthink it.
So today we're going to spotlight our artist who has 7,000 followers. So you want to make sure to follow this guy. His name is Logan McClure, and his handle on Instagram is at Logan's Paint or Logan's_paint. And he is a concept artist and a digital painter. And of course, this is important because you need the concept artist for making anything like
All the
movie.
things.
Yeah.
Literally all the
It
things.
sets the tone of what's happening, where are they traveling to, what's going on, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're so pretty. I know.
Now this You said digital, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like watercolor though.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
agree.
soft and pretty.
Yeah, I thought the same when I was looking at it. You would have to like zoom in to see the digitalness, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I know
We're
it's
going to war.
exactly. So, and that's why I wanted to bring these up is to ask you, like, what do you think is happening? Obviously, it looks like this one guy is rallying
Yeah.
some troops or something. And
How did he get the horse up there? Horse don't like cliffs.
they don't?
No.
You see it in the movies all the time, though.
They don't really like it though. They don't.
Interesting. I thought they did.
At least according to my dad, who's super obsessed with like cowboys. And
Okay.
every time we see something like that, he's like, that horse wouldn't want to do that. Like all the
Okay.
time.
Interesting. Wow. The more you know. There he is. And he's got his little
I
sword.
mean, I
or
guess
staff
that's like a bridge or some sort of path. So maybe it's okay. But yeah.
You're like, about the horse.
I'm thinking I'm flashing to like Zelda where you try to take your horse towards the edge and it's like, no.
Yes.
Ooh,
I know. I wonder what's happening here.
that's cool. It's like the ark, but floating.
Mhm. And it's
I need to
stabilized.
understand, what is this for?
No, that's what I was. My brain was like turning when I was looking at these pictures. Like, what's happening? What's going to happen next? What is this for? What? How does it fly?
Yeah. Okay. So it's definitely getting me interested. That's for sure. Even if these aren't necessarily made in the same like advertisement capacity as a movie poster is, it definitely draws you in.
Mhm. And then I get okay, quiet little town, but you got
Big
some
floating
space
things.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
Again,
imagination.
the future in the rural like
Yep.
mashup.
That's another
Why is
reason why I
that
picked them. Yeah.
always-
Uh-huh. You're right. There's
It's
something
so cool.
sci-fi-ish about that.
Yeah, it's the apocalyptic feel. Like we've had to resort back to like old days, but
yeah,
we still have some surviving technology from the future. Yeah. Very cool. I like whatever's happening with the sky. Like, is this multiple moons? Is it planets in the
I
background?
don't know. Is it like just big giant figure or like statues?
I don't know.
So
But that
these-
definitely looks like paint.
Yes. In these next few pictures, I'm going to ask you, so what do you think is happening? Do you think that this guy on the motorcycle is going to the location or is he turning back and looking at the location and leaving? Is he thinking about
I
like,
think
I used to
he's-
live there?
I think he's going for it
Okay.
because you see a lot of tire marks,
Mhm.
but none going to where he is.
Yeah.
So that tells me he's headed in that direction.
You know,
He's pausing for a moment. Do I really want to do this?
that's kind of what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so before or
This
after,
reminds me of a Purple Easel painting.
you know, I picked this also for that reason. I think we have so many different.
But there's a windmill one that's
Yes.
very similar to this. I recently taught it at a away event, and it was a bunch of kids, and they did so good with it.
Really?
They were beautiful.
Nice.
A big field of flowers.
So my question to you is, do you think this is before, you know, like sometimes at the end of like a game or movie or whatever, it's like the destruction happened, but then things are all beautiful and we went back to normal and the sky is clear? Or do you think this is like before the war of something, blah, blah, and the times were
Back
good?
in the idyllic. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really see any signs of destruction. So even if it was regrowth, you would see like maybe crumbling windmills instead. So I feel like this is the before.
Okay. That's crazy because my brain went after. That's why I wanted to ask
Interesting.
you these questions because I know it could be seen.
Yeah, art's so subjective, but that's so cool to see how other people realize things.
So, do you think this is a friend or foe?
Oh, my initial reaction is foe. 'Cause he's in the shadows.
Right, got a hood.
And that poor little bunny has no idea what's going to happen.
And we also don't know what he's holding. or she.
Yeah. like, I don't really see legs. Are they on a broom? Are they just floating? Is it just the bushes that are up high covering the legs? There's so many questions. Just don't know.
And another, what do you think is happening? Looks like a war kind of situation. But we also got these kind
It
of
almost
giants.
looks like a time lapse. Like the figure, maybe looking at it closer, they're different figures, but at first it read like it was the same figure and like different, like a progression.
See what you're saying. You know, I wonder if
And it's like zooming out. Like, look at the horses are getting smaller as you go. Like, oh man,
and also, if you look on the edges, there's these two blurry spots. I'm wondering if those are just the giants. They're just, you know.
Oh, yeah, could be. Oh, I don't know.
Are they helping? I think they're helping.
Well, so like, there's like a disruption, right? Like you see the two lines almost. That's kind of what makes me think it's a separate frame almost.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Like what's going on with that light?
Either that or something's glowing.
Yeah.
Wow. I love stuff that just makes you think. Like we don't have answers. We don't know what's going on. I mean, maybe if we watched whatever this was pertaining to, we might know. But like, just looking at it as a piece of artwork, wow.
And it's so interesting because it makes you want to watch whatever this is.
It
is kind of the point.
Really sucks you in, doesn't it? Man,
so definitely follow him. I think he's super cool. I don't know
great
about
illustration.
him, but I like it. Yeah,
you don't need to. You don't need to, right? Like, I mean, we know our artist today was he existed.
Oh, Noriyoshi.
Yeah. And then not much else, but we can still admire the work for what it is, even if it is in Japanese. Like,
of course.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's the universal language. I really liked what Christian said during our interview about how it's a language that he's trying to speak the most beautiful way possible.
Yeah, that was really like, wow.
Yeah. Good on Christian.
Yeah.
I'm going to carry that one with me.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good one.
Well, does that wrap us up?
It sure does. That concludes our
How
episode.
exciting.
Hopefully you guys will Google. Granted, you won't find any information, but Noriyoshi.
At least now you know. You
know he exists.
Yeah. It's one of those artists, like you've seen his work.
Yeah. You just
didn't know.
Yep, exactly. And make sure to follow Logan's Paint. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you learned a little bit. We also had some art news and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Spotlight with Purple Easel. Make sure to check out our artists. And in the meantime, create more and create often.
Bye.